Okay. Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Martha Alterhines, and I'm here again with my very good friend, Barbara Juniper. And we are here to bring you some more. Well, Barbara's going to bring you some more song magic. And specifically today, we're going to drop into this portal of the December solstice that we're in right now. So we're recording this on Friday, December 20th, and by the time you see this video, it'll be later on December 20th, or maybe the 21st, or maybe after that. But in any case, we're right in the moment of solstice right now. And Barbara has some beautiful songs to share, and we're gonna have a flowing conversation about whatever we're meant to flow with in this time together. And um yeah, so thank you, Barbara, for being here again.
Oh, thank you, Martha. It's really, it's always just a delight because we have such a resonance. Our souls have such a resonance, and we know that we've known each other a long, long, long time and
Any lifetimes.
many lifetimes, and it's kind of uncanny, when we connect with each other. It's the timing is always the perfect timing. So it feels like, again, the perfect timing, and I'm really happy to be here with your listeners, and just it's a delight always. Yeah.
Yeah. And just so for anybody who doesn't hasn't seen the previous videos with Barbara, or if you want a refresher, um, Barbara is a sound healer and a spiritual mentor and guide, and lives in Northern California. And you do some work online, and you also do some song circles and things in person. So for anybody in the kind of Marin, like northern, what, what, what
North
location would you give?
North Bay, North
North
Bay.
Bay.
Sometimes
Okay.
people come from East Bay, Berkeley, and or even San Francisco, and there will definitely be more events in 2025. So yeah, if you're interested, you can always also sign up on my website, barbarajuniper.com, if you want to get emails or be on my newsletter, get updates about what's happening. That I'd be more than
Yeah.
happy to share.
And I'm just a little too far to come in person to these things. And I so wish I could. It's like, oh man, it's exactly what I need in my life. But you do also, for people all around the world, you do offer things online too. So, um, yes. Okay. And the other thing I was going to say before we start is, uh, if you haven't seen the previous videos, you might want to go back, the ones that I've done with Barbara, because I have had many people tell me that they watched those videos to hear the songs over and over and over and over again. And they're like a medicine. For many people have told me that. So, first of all, I want you to make sure you know that, Barbara. And for all of you watching, please enjoy this video. Of course, I'm sure it'll be beautiful, and also go back and watch the other ones and enjoy those too. Um, yeah, yay.
Thank you. Yeah, song is medicine. We were talking about that a little bit before we got on this call, and just for people to know that your own song, your own soul song, is your medicine, and it's free. It's not medicine you have to go to the pharmacy and buy. It's like right here in your own being, and I just encourage everyone to sing, whether you just hum a tune in the shower or in your car, but just tune in, listen deeply, and just, if you're shy, if you've been told you can't sing, I'm so sorry, that's just not true. um, maybe just start with humming. Humming is
Mm,
really soothing for the psychophysical body, and you can use humming to just tune in to your body, and you can feel the vibration of humming in your body. And it's also a way, again, if you have shyness or you have some erroneous beliefs about your ability to express music, it's a really gentle way to start to break down the walls of those beliefs and really own your own voice, because anyone who can speak can sing.
Mm,
And and you could just hum for the rest of your life, and that would be a beautiful thing, you know.
yeah, definitely. Um, so before we started recording, you were talking about, or no, yeah, you brought up this idea that that I talked about in a recent video that you watched, that solstice time is a portal, and you were saying that there's this really important reminder for you that in these portal times it's really important to slow ourselves down in order to be able to really be present with that portal potential and energy. And do you want to say anything else about that? And I think you have a song maybe to go with that too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my sense around this time of solstice. Now, I also acknowledge, like you did in your previous video, that I'm in the northern hemisphere. So, for many people, this is the summer solstice who are in the southern hemisphere. For me, I'm going to speak right now to the winter solstice because that's where I am. And what I feel in my own body is that as we move more deeply, I mean, the winter solstice is officially the beginning of winter, even though I felt in the fall this coming down of the energy. It's a kind of dropping down. The leaves fall off the trees, the sap of the trees that are the deciduous trees go down into the ground, and that energy that's been up and expressed is actually returning to source. And so my feeling in my body is that nature supports us in the northern hemisphere during this winter solstice time, or as we're moving into that, to really slow down, to really drop a lot of the activity. It's tricky because, especially here in the Western world that I live in, it's very much the hustle and the bustle of the holidays, and it feels very counter to the actual energies that Mother Earth is kind of enveloping us with, or showing us by looking outside and seeing the leaves falling off and feeling the, I'm wearing my little shawl here. I was telling Martha earlier, it's very chilly here today. There's kind of that low ground fog that's got this winter chill, and there's a gray silvery kind of look outside. And so all of what I feel in my body is to just pull in. It's like the source energy of the trees going down into the roots. It's a kind of pulling in. It's not a contraction in a fearful kind of way. It's a natural but pulling my energies in, and coming into the center of my being, and really listening deeply as I reflect on this past year, and I reflect on things that have I've been really happy about, things that have been challenges. So it's an inward turning time for me personally. And again, it can be really really challenging when you're involved in the holiday typical, busy meeting with people, but yeah, so that for me is part of the slowing down that we were talking about. And there's a really beautiful song from northern India that I learned first from my teacher, Sylvia Nakash, and then my song leading mentor, Heather Houston, had first heard it from one of Sylvia's students, Alba Lirio, who is from Brazil. And it's called Mandam. And it's often school children sing this song. And it's really about slowing down. There's a chorus to it that just repeats the word mandam, which I believe means slowly. And then there's a few verses, but if it has resonance for you after I sing it, you can just sing the chorus of mandam, and feel even the is a way to feel into how the energy is moving through your body, and how that can help you slow down and bring your awareness inward and take a moment to disengage from the busyness of this holiday season. And then there's a few verses that the translation of is the girl walks slowly. Gachati bala, the girl walks slowly. Mandam, mandam. And then Udayati Surya is the sun rises slowly. And then Vikasati Pushpam is the flower blooms slowly. And then Vihasati Chandra, the moon shines gently. And so the whole song is really about a girl, visioning a girl walking slowly, and the sun rising slowly, and the flower blooming slowly, and the moon shining gently. And it's I think for me as well, it's about being present, and that's very much about slowing down, and the ability to slow down the body, slow down the speech, slow down the mind, so that you can really take in the preciousness of the moment. And also what you were saying, Martha, about this portal, being so present for us right now, where the sun is astronomically in relationship to the black hole, and this. When I think of portal, I think of a portal that goes in and a portal that's vast and expansive too, right? It's an inner, and it's also the vast expanse of the cosmos. So hopefully this song will help you drop in to a sense of slowing down. So I'll ring my bell and just invite you to get comfortable. If you're sitting up, you can just stay sitting up or lean back on some pillows and get cozy, wrap a blanket around you, or maybe you want to lie down. And just tune into your breath. And with each exhale, let your body relax. And really give yourself permission to let go of all the activity of your day. You may be listening to this in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, but just whatever's come before, give yourself the gift of just turning within for a moment and letting the sound bathe you. Mandam, 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 Gachati bala, mandam, mandam, Udayati Surya, mandam, mandam, Vikasati Pushtam, mandam, mandam, Vihasati Chandra, mandam, 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 mandam. Mandam, 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 gacchati bala, mandam, mandam, udayati surya, mandam, mandam, vikasati pushtam, mandam, mandam, vihasati chandra, mandam, 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 mandam,
Thank you. So I was wondering when you dropped in, Barbara, that everybody could feel into this. Um, I personally felt myself go incredibly deep. I almost forgot where I was or what I was doing there. Um, and I also grew up in South Asia, so it takes me very, very, very extra deep. But when you're in this moment, when here as Gaia, we are in the we're in the moment when we're moving around the sun, the star, the sun, and in the northern hemisphere, the North Pole is gets the least amount of sunlight that it does in the whole year, and the South Pole gets the most it does in the whole year. And so I often feel it like the Earth poles, specifically the South Pole, comes into this sort of click with the sun, and then the northern hemisphere is pointed out toward the cosmos. And in the backdrop behind the sun is, like you were saying, the part of the sky where we're pointed straight. Like if you could see behind the sun, which we can't, but if you could, it's the energetic of the center of the Milky Way galaxy, which is what we are part of, right? Um, so behind the sun is the energy of that black hole, incredibly powerful black hole at the center of our galaxy that we, as part of this solar system, part of the system of the star we call our sun, we're moving around the black hole through our galaxy. It's so powerful, that black hole. And yet we're at this moment when those of us in the northern hemisphere are sort of tilted away from the sun and away from that black hole in a sense. Um, and we come to this click and this sort of still point for a period of about 3 days in our relationship to the sun. And when I feel into that, I personally just go really, really, really still. I'm curious what you feel, Barbara. Or
Well, the image that's coming to me, again, being here in the northern hemisphere, and like you said, that it is the amount of darkness is as long as it will get, and the image that's coming to mind is times in my life when I've had the opportunity to go out into the wilderness in the winter when there's snow on the ground, and the stillness that you're talking about is profound.
yeah,
It's and yet it's also interesting because what's also coming up is that this stillness is not void.
mhm,
It's rich and full and like the plenum field, right? It's
mhm.
and it and I find in my own being that place of stillness is so regenerative.
Yeah,
And I think our psychophysical being craves returning to that still place because that still place is the essence of all knowing. It is the essence, it is the place of profound wisdom. And I think this is the opportunity that this solstice offers us, is this opportunity to consciously turn within and consciously find that still point in our own being in whatever way is natural to us. For some people, it might be meditation. For some people, it might be going out into nature and sitting in a place that you have a strong connection to. For some people, it might be art. There's portals in. There's different portals into stillness, and for each of us, I think we're going to find our own pathway in. But I would hope that everybody feels the like they have permission to do that. Again, like I was saying, it's challenging in these times because the world wants you to be really busy and wants you to be engaged in lots of activity at this time of year. And nature says, no, go quiet. So I hope people can give themselves, whoever's listening to this, whether it's now or another time, just give yourself permission to go quiet and find that beautiful still point within your own being that is so imbued with love and with compassion and with wisdom and knowing and deep intuitive knowing. It's a gift that we give ourselves to take that time, even if it's just for a few moments, because sometimes I also acknowledge that not everybody has the privilege of taking time or the causes and conditions where they can. So I want to acknowledge that too, that, maybe it's just a nanosecond. Maybe it's just a brief moment where you feel your feet extending roots down into the earth and you feel that your being expand in the cosmos, and it may not last more than just a couple of minutes, but that in and of itself is can be enough to resource you to keep going with whatever challenges are, whatever you're having to address.
And something coming to me as you're saying all that, that I think most of us probably have the ability to do. Trying to think of circumstances where a person wouldn't, but with the caveat that maybe there are somebody who can't. Okay. I think most of us have the ability to do this. Something I've been trying to do a lot lately is when I'm lying down to go to sleep at night, even then, um, just to feel into Gaia herself, right? And I sleep on a mattress on a wooden floor, which I feel like I really like because it helps me feel her more. But I think however we sleep, if we're even in a top bunk bed in a high rise, I mean, whatever, um, I think we can do that. And just like what I'm feeling even as you're talking and I'm dropping in now is the sense that at night, or if we have the ability to take a nap or whatever, or just lie down for a moment and just let her um show us through her body, that she has this rhythm that's natural to her and therefore natural to us. And that has been so deeply comforting for me lately. To, in a sense, let her
Hmm.
rhythm rock me to sleep, even from the inside out, you know. And
Hmm.
then I love the image of there's no snow where I live. Southern California or central Southern California, but no snow here. Somewhere in the mountains, maybe. Um, but I have lived in snow and a lot of snow, and I really, really miss being in the woods where there's no one and it's deep, quiet. And so I know what that feeling is. And so I was imagining just now being, when you're in lots and lots of snow clothes, and so you don't get cold and you don't get wet, and you can just lie in the snow under trees. Ugh, there's nothing like it. There
There's
just is.
nothing like it, and I can't think. I'm just thinking now. I don't think I've ever been in environments that were as quiet as going deep into the backcountry, like you said, with no one around, with no. This the stillness is almost overwhelming. It's like it's quiet, but it's an alive quiet. It's
Yeah.
just so it's just so
Right.
powerful.
And to feel into Gaia there, right? Like she is very alive underneath that snow and
It's
you know,
the snow. There's a lot going on, but there's also a sense of profound rest.
yes.
Like she's resting.
Yes.
She has spent the spring and the summer producing and flowering and making food and growing leaves and fruit trees, and it's just been this explosion of Gaia's creativity and Gaia's generosity. And there's this period of like, okay, it's time to rest. I'm going to bring all that energy in, pull it in, pull it in, pull it in, get really, really, really quiet, and we are Gaia. This is our cycle too. This is our rhythm too. Now, again, I was recently in the tropics and I realized, wow, this is really different because it stays pretty much the same environment. There's monsoon time cycles of the year, but in terms of temperature fluctuations, especially I was near the equator, and I
Mhm.
realized this is that it's very unique to where I live, that I get this very seasonal change, spring,
Mhm.
summer, fall, and winter, and not every part of the planet experiences that. Um,
No.
so again, this is really, I'm realizing as I'm speaking, this is more towards, people who are in the, northern and southern parts of that equatorial belt, of course they're flipped, our, like you said, ours is the winter solstice and the summer solstice is down south of the equator, but that band, where you can experience the
Mhm.
seasons is quite profound in terms of really feeling into that part of the rhythm of Gaia, you know.
Yeah. And you want to know a coincidence, not coincidence?
Of course.
Course, of course. You know what? 2 days ago, people watching this video, some of you maybe have already seen. 2 days ago, I recorded part five. I'm recording these series of videos where I'm reading Gaia Speaks. And guess which section I read 2 days ago? It's called Sleep, Dream, Rest Deeply, Remember.
Okay. All right.
I didn't even think about how incredibly perfect timing that was. And she talks all about this, all of what we just said. We have to rest. We have to. Hmm.
And in that resting, we remember.
Hmm.
So I'm feeling another song.
I knew it. Go for it. Yeah. Yay.
So yeah, I just encourage you all to again just take a moment and close your eyes if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. Lean back, rest, get yourself in a position that feels like you can, like just what when Martha was saying, even if you want to lie down or just feel yourself if you're sitting in a cozy position in a chair on a couch, really take a moment and feel the earth underneath you. No matter whether you're 20 stories up or right there on the ground, Gaia is holding you 24/7. Whether we're consciously aware of it or not, she is totally supporting you every moment. Whether you're sitting, whether you're walking, whether you're lying down, whether you're standing, there's not a moment. None of us are flying off into space. She's she's got us. She's holding us. We can think of gravity as her embrace. She's holding us close. So take a moment and really let yourself, as much as possible, notice if there's any tension in your body. And just take a moment to let that tension soften and let it melt down into the earth. Because she is also the great transformer, the great recycler. Our mother knows how to take that excess energy and recycle it. And so take a moment and just let your body let go into that embrace. There's nothing you need to do right now. Give yourself permission to let go of worrying about the past or worrying about the future. Let go of trying to manipulate the present moment into something, and just let yourself relax into the embrace of Gaia. And in this moment, as you drop more deeply into your still point, into your still center, maybe there's a kind of remembering of who you truly are, your beautiful, pure being.
feeling a lot that I don't want to even attempt to put into words. But two things I do want to say are number one, I would love for everyone watching to share anything that came alive for you there because I could just feel how there could be infinite things literally coming alive there. Um, and another part that was there for me was Gaia, like Gaia, mm, like the sense from Gaia that the effort isn't from us or from me, that I don't need to effort to remember. It was like I was feeling her kind of like circling up my leg and then up my body and then up, like she as the Mama Gaia was doing the acting, if that makes sense, right? And I just needed to just let go and let her do it, whatever it is. Um, anyway, so for me, there's like my own personal journey with that it's like too beyond words. I don't want to try to articulate, but um, that felt important. And yeah, and I would love to hear what comes alive for other people.
Oh, what comes up for me as you speak to that? Hmm. My experience in regards to the effortlessness that you were referring to is that most of the efforting that we experience comes from our ego identity.
Mm.
Bless our egos. They're trying so hard to get it right. And I think egos have a bad rap. It's like we need a strong sense of self to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
able to
we do.
for the world. And yet, when we begin to drop into that still place, my experience is that is where it's when we drop out of the conceptual mind, which sound is such a beautiful portal into helping us drop out of the busy mind, the monkey mind.
Mm.
We connect in with that pure being essence of who we are. That is where the wisdom, that is the library of wisdom of all time. And in that, like you were saying, there's an effortless knowing, the self-knowing, the self-awareness is all pervasive. There's nothing from an egoic sense to do. It's all self-revealing, self-informing. So that's what was arising for me as you were talking about the sense of no effort.
Yeah. I'm thinking I pretty often, not anyway, it's pretty common that people will comment and say, I can't do it. Like, I don't know how to do this. I'm listening to your meditation and nothing's happening. And I'm basically like the sense that they're doing it wrong. And it's like, oh. Yeah, yeah. Do you have any advice for people when they're in that?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. In fact,
Mhm,
I've gotten a lot of feedback from people in my meditation groups of like, "Oh my God, I never realized I thought I was doing it all wrong." And there's
mhm.
no wrong to it. There's
Exactly. Exactly.
I think when you sit to be still, and it's different with a guided meditation. With a guided meditation is a nice way to have someone kind of guiding you through and helping you, supporting you to drop in. Sometimes it can be really scary to drop in and get quiet because what is revealed is maybe some emotions that we've been holding at bay, or maybe we see thought patterns, habitual thought patterns that we're like, oh gosh, I didn't know that. But in my world, and I am a Buddhist practitioner, Tibetan Buddhist practitioner. In my world, the beginning steps into meditation are always, I mean, and not even the beginning, all the way through is, first of all, very kind to self and learning how to relax. It's not about tensing up to get it right. It's like, can we just relax in the presence of what is here in the moment and maintain a sense of loving kindness toward whatever is arising, compassion, um, gentleness. It's not a white knuckling, I'm not getting it right. It's like, no, no, darling, no, just relax, relax. And maybe it's just, you just start with a couple minutes, it like titrate it in, and be kind to yourself, and but just keep practicing coming into present moment awareness, just. And the other thing that can happen a lot when people start to sit and practice is you get aware of what your mind's doing all the time. And that, there's a metaphor that's used as like a beginning meditator. It's like a tumbling river coming down out of the mountains, and then as you get a little more experience, it kind of widens out and slows down, and then eventually it joins the ocean, right? But when you become aware of what your mind is doing on a habitual level, it's like, wow, okay. But again, without criticism, without shaming, blaming, I'm not doing it right. Please, please, please don't don't do that to yourself. It's not the reason why we sit and try to come into stillness. It's to actually connect with our basic goodness
Mhm.
that has often hard for us to see because we've been told otherwise by our culture or our environment or caregivers that were telling us we weren't okay and there was something broken and something wrong. So really, for me, it's about connecting with our pure being and our beautiful, unique expression of who each one of us is, which is completely a jewel.
Exactly. Thank you.
So no shaming and blaming.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think for me that's one of the hardest and simplest questions to answer. It's like, every time that arises, I go, "Oh," something in me just like
Mhm.
clenches. I just feel so much suffering in that question. Like, oh man. And the answer is so simple, yet somehow also not, right? It's like, but it is. It's
Because we live in a culture that the metric of your value and your worth is what you're doing, and you're doing
mm,
it, and how well you're doing it, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not it's not about your being. And when we, do a meditation or we sit to be still, it's about coming into this relationship with your beingness, and it's not about having to do it right or doing anything. It's just your value and your worth is the essence of your being. So we've been given pretty hard and fast messaging that you better do it and you better do it right or you're not worth the ground that you stand on. And that's just, sorry,
ugh,
gotta debunk that one. Gotta debunk that one.
yeah. Let's let that go.
Let that go. Whoosh. Especially here we are, end of the
Sure.
year. Let it go, release it. I mean, it's a beautiful time to release.
Yeah,
And releasing can sometimes be easier said than done, but just, I would love it if everybody listening to this video, this conversation, could make a commitment in the new year that
mm,
every time you catch yourself being critical to yourself, you just say, "Oh, sweetie, we're not doing that anymore." That in and of itself would begin to tilt the balance, you know. Just self-compassion, self-love, super important. Super, super important.
my heart feels soothed just hearing those words. So
Yeah,
good.
we all need to hear it, right?
Mhm.
Hear it.
So the last component that's arising for me, you can answer however you want or don't answer or sing a song or whatever, is okay, you just mentioned the fact that we're at this sort of portal time, not sort of, we're at this portal time of solstice, and it also happens to be when we're moving from what we call 2024 into 2025. And you might be listening to this actually anytime in the future, and it might be 10 years from now. So hello from 20 December 2024. But but in this moment we are recording this, we are in this transition. It's a portal in a sense also into the new year. So given the way we do our calendar at this moment. Um so what arises for you when you feel into that, moving into 2025 or anything? No right or wrong answer here either.
Yeah, thank you. Um, well, as everyone knows, we're in this kind of cuspy point. It feels there's a lot that's hanging in the balance right now. And it's not to say, I was thinking, gosh, there have been other times in history. I remember watching a docudrama about Hildegard von Bingen, and she was born right at the cusp of 999 going into 1,000, right? And they thought for sure the world was going to end. I mean, that was it. And everybody was in this cave and they were all hunkered down. And she goes out in the morning and everything's still there, And so I know there's been other times in history where it felt like the world was hanging in the balance. And at this moment in time, I think that a lot of us collectively are feeling there's just a lot going on. There's wars, there's aggression and hatred and violence and climate change and all this stuff. And there have been in different wisdom traditions, in the Buddhist tradition, there have been prophecies about this time, particularly from Guru Rinpoche or Padmasambhava, who was what they call the second Buddha, who brought Buddhism into Tibet. And along with those prophecies about how things were going to kind of degenerate, there were also suggestions for how to work with this time. And for me, I subscribe to the idea that whatever we can do to generate, from the Buddhist perspective, we talk about generating merit. And merit is the accumulation of virtuous acts, positive acts, and wisdom. And so, whatever practices you can engage in that are adding a positive frequency to the world, bless you and thank you. I feel that the more we can do, particularly at this time, I was reading recently that in particular, the Tibetan and the Chinese New Year is a little later. It's in February, and they're saying these last 10 weeks of this dragon year are particularly the results or the fruits of those positive actions are really potent. And that's not to say we won't continue them past February, but just to encourage people, be be conscious of your speech, how you're speaking kindly. If you have a practice, if you have a spiritual practice where you're generating positive energy and thinking about the planet, like maybe up your game with that a little bit in the next couple of months, and just yeah, that would be sing powerful positive songs, chant mantras. Chanting of mantras is powerful, particularly if any of you know the Guru Rinpoche mantra, Om Ahung Benzra Guru Pema Siddhi Hung. I will send that to you, Martha, so you can put it in the chat. It's a very powerful mantra to recite at this time because it's also calling on, I know you talk about this a lot, Martha, but it's calling on these awakened beings to really activate our connection with these awakened beings who are here to help, to support in these times. It's like the speed dial to Guru Rinpoche, and this mantra is the Tara mantra, Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. The Mani mantra, the mantra of the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, who's the Bodhisattva Mahasattva of compassion, Om Mani Padme Hum. So I will definitely, you can find these even on YouTube. There's beautiful recordings of these that you can just play in the background while you're working, while you're cooking a meal, while you're doing dishes, or just just to permeate the space with these seed syllables are very potent and they carry awakened energy with them. And so whatever you can do to engage with awakened body, speech, and mind, it's gonna only benefit. It's gonna only benefit our world, and the world systems beyond, you know.
Yeah. Just one thought popping in for me with that is that, as people probably already realize, but if you don't, I am holding a free event on Sunday, this Sunday,
Right.
December 22nd, where this 2024, and I'll put the link here for that. And you can also listen to the recording after the fact. Anyway, but what it is a gathering of the Council of Infinity, which is basically that, right? Like where we're gonna drop in together with as beings of Gaia, and we're gonna convene with the infinite benevolent realms of all of time and all of space who are absolutely present here as us, with us, holding Gaia in this moment, holding us in this moment. And this is the most obvious realization, but I'm having it anyway, even though it's incredibly obvious, is that, of course, there are these ancient traditions like Tibetan Buddhism who also connect with these beings and have been for thousands of years. It's
Yeah.
not new. It's not new. Wow. Yeah, thank you. That
Hmm.
obvious reminder. Um, and that's just so grounding and so helpful, so relieving to me to remember that, yeah, and that this is natural to us and we, anyway, they're beings all over this planet and have been for eons who do have these ways of being in continual connection like this. Mm, mm.
And what you're saying is really important too, in terms of at least what I've been taught by my teachers, and I feel there's truth to it too, is that these beings are present, and it takes our motivation, aspiration to connect. It's kind of the metaphor that's used in my tradition is the hook. They have this hook of compassion, right?
Mm.
Down. And when we reach to connect and through our devotion, through our aspiration, through our intention, it's like the ring connects with the hook. And there's
Yes.
this way then that even more download of blessings can happen. So, yeah.
This is part of why I love talking to you. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, for people who don't know, when Barbara and I talk often, it's, we're talking on a personal level, and I'll say, "Oh, yeah, this is the thing that's been coming through for me." And then Barbara will go, "Oh, yeah, that's called," blah, 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 blah." And I'm over here thinking, "Oh, I'm channeling this thing. I don't know anyone else channeling this thing." And you're like, "Yeah, so this has been talked about for 10,000 years and it has a name and
Well, yeah,
it's,
it is. And at the same time, it's, I mean, the beauty of the living Dharma is that it adapts to the times,
Mhm, mhm.
yes, according to the capacities of the beings, and it has, the language might change a little bit, the essence stays the same, but it adapts to the time and the need of the time. I mean, that was what was so beautiful. I'll share. Oof, here's what's coming that, just I was on pilgrimage in Bhutan just recently, and
Mhm.
oh my goodness, there were so many blessings, and I just felt like I I want to just be a jewel. I think of a prism, and the light shines through it, and the rainbows. I just, my aspiration was, may the blessings that I was so fortunate to receive, go out to anyone who needs blessings in any way, shape, or form, whether I'm conscious of it or not. And one of the experiences that we had, Guru Rinpoche, he left what are called termas. And termas can be mind termas, they can be buried in the earth. There's different, they were teachings that were hidden away, and they were not revealed. The termas are revealed by particular people called tertons that have this city or this spiritual power to be able to find these termas that have been hidden in different places. And it might be a statue, it might be a script, it might be, a text. And again, sometimes they're in people's minds, but we were given this incredible opportunity to stand in the presence of termas that had been found while we were in Bhutan, and just the energy coming off of them was amazing. And they were relics. They were kept in a very sacred place that hardly anybody gets into that room to actually be in the presence of. And for me, the idea that of the profound compassion of Padmasambhava to secret away these treasures for them to be revealed at a specific time on our planet when those teachings, those practices would be the most beneficial. It's beyond our human comprehension of that level of compassion. So it's
Wow.
pretty.
I'm having so many thoughts, so many feelings, so many, ugh. It's just, ugh. Wow. Okay. I'll save it for another time, but do you have do you have a closing song you wanna share? Or anything else that's coming up you wanna say?
Well, there was one more kind of a winter solstice song that again was a song of Heather's, that came to her on right around the solstice. I think it was in 2017. And again, Heather Houston is my song leader mentor. She lives in Santa Cruz, California, and incredible being, just wonderful light being and song carrier. And it's called Oh Holy Morn. So, yeah, again, apologies for you who are in the southern hemisphere that might be listening to this, but maybe the words are about a frosty winter morn, and you can just imagine that it's a sunny winter or summer morn. Take it and use it however it lands for you. But
Well, you know what I would actually love for
yeah,
people who are in the Southern Hemisphere is, for those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, because a lot of you are, I would love for you to share with us, yeah, what are you feeling right now?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I was talking with someone, a close friend who's in Melbourne, Australia right now, um, and it's really, really hot there right now. It's like 41 Celsius or something, and it's like it's way too hot. Oh, I can't cool down. So what is it? Yeah, share with I would really love to. I think that'd be really beautiful. Actually, wherever we are in the world, I would love for us all to share what does this December solstice time feel like right now? And we both happen to be in the northern hemisphere. Although I'm in a relatively temperate part of the northern hemisphere, but but I am in the northern hemisphere. So, but I've lived all over the world. I've lived south, I've been south of the equator many times. I lived whatever. Anyway, I've lived all over, all over the place. So I feel I'm more of a citizen of the world. But and you've just been all over the place and traveled all over so many times and everywhere, all of these places. You were just in the place where I was born, in Thailand too.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So we're holding the whole earth as we're doing this, and I would really love to hear from people all over what it is like. And we will honor where we happen to be in this moment because it is where our bodies are right now. So go for it. Go for it.
Go for it here. Oh, holy morn of frosty winter, dawn of love's returning light, speak to me in songs of wonder, teach my heart to shine so bright. O holy morn of frosty winter, dawn of love's returning light, Speak to me in songs of wonder. Teach my heart to shine so bright. Oh, holy morn of frosty winter, dawn of love's returning light. Speak to me in songs of wonder. Teach my heart to shine so bright. Ooh. Oh, holy morn of frosty winter, dawn of love's returning light. Speak to me in songs of wonder. Teach my heart to shine so bright. Speak to me in songs of wonder. Teach my heart to shine so bright. Teach my heart to shine so bright. Teach my heart to shine so bright. And just take a moment and allow the resonance of these words, of this melody, to pour through your body. And just imagine a light, a flame in your heart. And that flame is growing brighter and stronger, radiating through your entire psychophysical being, and then out into the world. And this light, wherever it goes, whatever it touches, whoever it touches, is imbued with love, with compassion, and with wisdom. And we dedicate the merit of our time together, of sharing song and sharing heartfelt conversation that uplifts. We dedicate this to the well-being and the liberation of all beings, that every being, from the smallest insect to the largest animal, comes to recognize its true nature, its pure being. Mm. Blessed be.
To be so good. Thank you so much. That was a really big gift for me.
Mm. That's a gift for me too, Martha. Thank you for all the light that you shine into the world and all the
Oh,
benefit from your beautiful heart.
thank you. Same. Um, Before we close out, would you like to say anything more about what you offer, how people can find you, anything you want to invite people into?
Sure, people can find me by my website, barbarajuniper.com. And if you want to sign up for my mailing list, I send out newsletters from time to time, announcements about local things that I'm doing and also some online things that I do. There is a free Monday night meditation group that I lead every Monday night that goes from 7 to 8:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's through the Buddhist center that I'm a member of. And I also feel at this time with everything going on that it's really important for people to feel supported spiritually. That our spiritual compass, our spiritual practices, and again, they're unique and individual to each person, but they're our centerboard, they're our keel as we move through our, if we think of our life as a boat in this ocean and there's a lot of waves and a lot of winds and tumult, our connection with source and our spiritual practices are what keep us from sinking in the ocean or getting blown over and not being able to right again. And so I offer spiritual counseling and support for people, just because it can be really helpful to have a companion by your side that you can have those conversations with. Sometimes it's hard to find. I know, of course, with Martha, you've got your Sangha that's growing and your community, but sometimes, there's a benefit to having someone walking with you, and supporting you in that way. It's a little different than therapy. It's more like let's explore what your soul is yearning for, and what are the practices that feel are going to be really juicy for you to connect with source and keep you resourced and
Mhm.
resilient for these times that we're living in. So I do offer that, and it can be a Zoom call, it can be a phone call, it can be in person. If you live in the Bay Area, one of the things that I offer is spiritual guidance and combined with an in-person sound healing, because I find that the sound and the spiritual guidance, they just marry so beautifully, because the sound can help release old habitual patterns and help bring in the new. So that's something that it has to be in person, but if you are, in the San Francisco Bay Area, that is also something that if you're interested, just reach out to me through my website. And yeah.
And I have very high standards of who I would recommend people to, and I would absolutely recommend them to you. So, I have very, 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 very high standards. Do not do that lightly in at all. So yeah, I know you and trust you and would trust you. Trust trust people, trust you holding people. Trust your hands to hold them. Whatever the words is. Um, yeah, absolutely. You are a gift.
Mm,
Rare.
thank you.
Thank you so, 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 so much, Barbara.
You're welcome. And solstice blessings to everyone, and New Year's blessings, and stay strong in your heart, and stay grounded, stay connected to Gaia. And yeah, we can do this together. We just link arms, right? We just walking each other home.
Hmm. Beautiful.
And that, just to end too with that prophecy, even though, like I said, the Guru Rinpoche's prophecy of, these quote unquote degenerate times, there's by engaging in these merit forming actions, these positive actions, the way I see it is that, okay, the ocean liner is heading this way, but we all know if an ocean liner changes course by just 1 degree, it will
Yeah.
go to a completely different destination. And that's what I see these practices being, is we're shifting that 1%, that 1 degree, just 1 degree. It doesn't have to be 30 degrees. It can just be 1 degree, and you go the distance, and it goes completely to a different place. So that's
Yes.
a possibility, right? That's a
Hmm.
total possibility. And I believe that we can do this if we commit to being kind and being generous and being patient and owning our light and shining as brilliantly as we can. I have optimism.
Mhm. I think it's why we're here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think we would be here if it was doomed and there's
No.
I don't think I would be sitting here if there was no hope. But
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I also know that I've heard incredible stories about lamas and rinpoches building temples, and then you let go of the outcome, and then the temple was built, and then the earthquake came and the temple went down. It's like, okay, we build another one. So it's kind
Mm,
of like we don't grip tightly onto that
yes.
final destination. We just do what we can do with an open heart and just offer it up and know that these beings, these enlightened beings, that source, ultimately, together we're working on this, so that feels important too.
Yes. Yes. So many levels of yes. Again, too many thoughts to express right this second, but thank
Well,
you,
let's
thank
leave it
you.
at that. Thank you so much. Love to you all.
Mhm. See you all soon. And come to my thing on Sunday if you're hearing this before December 22nd. I would love to see you there and you can get to recording too. Okay. And let us know any thoughts, feelings on this video. We would love that. See you all soon.